Well, how to get dreads with dread perming? Well, first I would like to say that dread perming can be done for a number of different reasons. I'll give you two. The first is you can, depending on the texture of your hair, if your texture tends to be a little coarse, you can do this process of dread perming to kind of even out and smooth out your texture. Another reason to do dread perming is to promote more lockage. You want the hair to really lock, and when you perm the hair and when you do this dread perming, as you get the runoff, as you rinse out the actual chemical, the hair and the chemical kind of just lock together, and that causes you to get a tighter lock on a softer texture of hair. But the process itself is sometimes not always recommended and is not the best thing for a dreadlock style, because dreadlocks are supposed to be natural. But there are some that like to have a more polished, natural look, so this might be a process for them. You first start out with using a relaxer known as a thioglycolic acid. There are many different kinds of perms and relaxers, but this one in particular is more of an alkaline way of relaxing the hair. I like to refer to it as it is the step before you perm with a permanent wave, or the step before you smooth out or straighten, or it's the step before you curl on a quote-unquote jerry curl. So what you do is you take the thioglycolic acid and you do the first part of it, which is where it rearranges the bonds and it kind of breaks the hair down. It swells the cuticle layer and breaks the bonds of the hair down. And then once that chemical is actually smoothing the hair and breaking it down, that's when you go into your rinse out stage and you rinse the whole thing out. And in the process of rinsing, because with dreadlocks, the beautiful thing about them is they don't shed because you don't comb your hair. So all of that everyday shedding that you would normally get when you comb your hair, it stays in your locks with dreadlocks. So with the dread perming, as you're rinsing out the perming solution, that shedding starts locking in with the permed dreadlock a little more quickly. It gets softer. So now it's able to kind of push its way down a little further into the lock. That you think of that new growth that's in the that's closer to the root, it starts sliding its way down a little further into the lock, and the lock gets a little thicker and it starts locking in a little tighter. After you rinse out the perm solution, you neutralize, and you either twist or dry, or depending on what type of style you're doing afterwards. But that is pretty much the process of doing dread perming. Again, is for if you want to smooth out the texture of your hair, or if you want to get your dreadlocks to lock up a little bit faster.